Susan, we need you. Okay, welcome to the Finance and Corporate Committee agenda for 28 November 2023. I'll call for apologies, but no, we're all here, aren't we? Disclosure of members' interests. Yes, Liz, and I take it that you will remove yourself from the room. Thank you. That's for item 15. Late items. No. Confirmation of the order of the meeting. Now, King's got we've got a little bit going on here, so bear with us.
Yeah, we have. Look, just a couple of things. So item number 6, the Waikato Screen annual report. One of the presenters, we understand, is going to be about 20 minutes late. So what we are looking to do is to bring forward potentially items 7 and 8. And in fact, it might actually be the opposite way around, 8 and 7. But yeah, we'll just bring those two items forward to allow the presenter to get here on time. The other one I just do need to draw to your attention. So item number 10, which is a community lease for the Te Awamutu Light Operatic Society Incorporated. Yeah, look, just a couple of things have just come up in regard to that matter. So we are looking to pull that off the agenda, remove it off this agenda, and we will bring that back to you at it will likely bring that back to you in February of next year, because yeah, unfortunately, next week's meeting is probably going to be a wee bit too early as well. So just yeah, just removing item 10 from the agenda and just yeah, changing the order of those first 3 substantive items.
Awesome, thanks, Ken. So with all that going on, could I have a mover? Thank you, Dallenbury. Thank you, Claire. All in favour, please say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. It's carried. I see that. Yep, perfect. So confirmation of the minutes, pages 9 on, they've been pre-circulated and I've had no. If I mover, thank you, Claire. And a seconder, thank you, Roger. All in favour? Aye. Contrary, no. It's carried. So we'll go now to item 7, health and safety report for period July to October 2023. Welcome to Bev and Clark. Fantastic, and compliments on the report. It's but please, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko Clark Collins Aho, Manager HR Operations. It's my pleasure to present you with my first health and safety report. It's for the period from July to October inclusive. I'm taking the report as read, but obviously Bev and I are here to take any questions that you do have.
Awesome, thanks very much. Questions or comments, people? Bruce?
Just a fairly simple one. What is a near miss classified? What do you call that?
I can answer it. It's something that in another circumstance could have led to an injury or an accident.
Lucy.
Yeah, hi Bev, hi Clark, nice to see you both. Hey, I just got to reading some of these documents and I looked at the definition of a workplace, and I sort of started extrapolating out liability in my head, as you do. Does that extend, given that we have so many people working from home, to imply that homes are now workplaces? And if so, what does that mean for us?
When we have people working from home, it's not a workplace as such, because it's not a compulsory area that we've told them they have to work. So people have a choice. So this is from WorkSafe, their definitions, and this came around, there's a lot of discussion around when we were in lockdowns. So our home is not our normal workplace, and we don't have to work there as employees of Waipa District Council. But if we change that and say, okay, you have to work from home for X amount of periods a day, then the responsibilities on Waipa change slightly in how we actually manage those people who work from home. But at the moment, it's not a workplace under the definition under WorkSafe.
Oh, yeah, I just sort of started having really crazy kind of thinking, you're like, oh, okay, so if that, yeah, no, I'll stop there. Thank you.
Marie.
Just a quick question, and I've posed this before to others in the room. Cultural health and safety plan. Have we got any movement in there?
Steve's going to respond to this one. A very good question.
Through the chair, kia ora tā Marie. Yes, we're going to be meeting up with Shane Taruki and Henrietta. Have done some research on cultural safety. There isn't a lot out there. It looks like it's one of those spaces that are evolving and is going to need conversations to be had with relevant people to get something that's right for Waipawa District Council. So that's where we're currently at. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for this. Question for me is around the due diligence plan. It's always quite sobering to realise you're an officer of the organisation and the obligations on an officer, and particularly the essential elements. There are 5 listed out there. No, there are 6. The second one, understand and gain an understanding of the operations carried out by the council and the hazards and risks generally associated with those operations. Now, I would somewhat challenge that around this table, we are over that. Like I imagine, you know, your wastewater treatment plants, never even been on one, your water treatment plants. So just, that was the one that sort of, don't know if I can tick that box.
So from your responsibilities as elected members, you need to gain assurances that we have processes in place to ensure that we are actually following good practical guidelines, that we've actually identified the risks and that they are in control. So we, as an organisation, must give you that information, and these reports going forward will give you what we've done in some of these spaces with our critical risks, and how they've been controlled. So it's not necessarily for you to visit and have a look, it's actually for you to get assurances from us through reporting or through audits in particular, that we're actually managing those processes in a safe manner and according to what we've actually put in place. Does that actually help?
Yeah. It does, and I don't want to overburden anyone, and I don't really want to go touring your plants and stuff. But I know in the corporate world they do, right? The directors are always going through factories and stuff for exactly that reason, so they can say, yeah, we've actually physically seen it. We didn't just rely on what we got told.
Sorry, within here is that the officer for Waipawa District Council is the chief executive. So that is the person who has that duty of due diligence. You people as elected members are officers, but don't have that same duty. Your duty is to ensure that the officer is carrying out his duties. So it's an assurance from your perspective.
Where's that distinction drawn? Is that in the legislation or is it in our plan?
No, it's in both. So it's in our plan as well as legislation.
Right, so the chief executive officer is a different class of officers to us. Right,
Yeah,
I think.
different. So the officer of the organisation, which is chief executive, has the due diligence duty. So he has that duty of due diligence. You, as elected members, being officers, must ensure that that officer carries out those duties. That's kind of a simplistic way, I think, that we can explain.
In a way, it's a governance responsibility that you do have.
Yeah, and thanks for that, Monty, because it's something I think we're all interested in and good to have cleared up. Lou.
My question was on number 5, mentally healthy work. We're getting to an area here where we almost need some specific expertise to actually adjudicate what that actually means. Is it the work? Is it the environment? Or is it the home ground environment? You know, you're dealing with a lot of variables when you talk of mental health.
So
what are we actually entailing in this?
So WorkSafe, this is a new part in WorkSafe as well. So they've actually stood up a team of mentally healthy work, which is run by a clinical psychologist. And they have identified 3 areas of what that could look like. And I think that's in our plan as well. I think it's work design, the environment and the people. So we need to make sure we look after all of those 3 aspects to make sure that we've got a mentally healthy workspace. Like the work design must be, the work must be designed in a manner that it's actually safe for people to be in. So that is about physically and having an environment, for example, of having safe reporting, all of these sort of things. And it's the whole environment, that's your ventilation systems, it's about everything else, and it's about the people making sure that they've got all those systems. So it's a really new part of health and safety as it is. So everyone, not just us, but everyone's trying to work through this on how we're going to get those systems in place.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, I think that being the case, I'd just like to say I was very interested to see the benefits detailed about recording the near misses better than what we have been. Yeah, that's really good. So I have the recommendation on page 29 to receive the report. Do I have a mover, please? Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Monty. All in favour? Contrary, no. It's carried. Thank you very much. Well done. Okay, so we will now move to tab 8, the 4-month report to 31 October. Yolanda and Nada, hi. Okay. Okay, Nada and Amy, hi, welcome. Cool. Okay, questions, people?
Just a quick one through the chair.
Lou.
I see we've lost, $12,442,000. Do we expect that to continue, that figure to escalate over the next period? This is for development contributions and the reserves? Yeah.
Not lost.
It was money that we expected to have arrived at this period of time. And do we have to actually look at more deferments against our balance sheet?
Nada, you might.
Sorry. Just I always think the readers that it's on. The flow on from the capital projects that have been deferred to next year and beyond, just with the timing of those. They have had a good look at the growth space. So hopefully there won't be any more that flow out.
Yeah, but it's a timing issue, not a, rather than a loss. Yeah. Monty?
I've got 3, okay? 3 questions. First one, just a technical matter. In your statement of comprehensive revenue, the property sales, it's 11.8 million. Sorry, a reduction in property sales of 11.8 million. Just technical question here. When you report property sales as a revenue line, that means gain on sale, does it? Like it doesn't mean that that's not selling price, that's compared to book value, right?
I will have to double check, but I'm sure that that's what they've got targeted as sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's the growth as well.
Which is what I thought, but that shouldn't come through your statement of comprehensive revenue, should it? That was my question. I went, well, that can't be right.
Yeah, no, I would have, I would have thought actually the reverse. I would have thought it was actually the gain on sale because yes, you're quite quite correct in accounting terms. That is what you recognise. Yeah, so I believe that is what it is, the gain on sale.
I don't want to get hung up on that. It was a technical question. I went and looked up Investopedia and I thought, yeah, I'm right. But it just seemed like it was gross sales. So that was a minor one. Well, they're all minor actually. Second one, over to page 68. Borrowing and interest rates. Our assumption's 5% in the 23-24 annual plan, and our current average is 4.15. Just a question: how long is our average staying 4.15? How do we relate to the OCR basically? Are we trending up already? Does it go up in steps? Give me some flavour of how that works.
Yeah, so look, that will so through the chair, that will trend up over time, Mike, because we are obviously when we take out new loans, we are taking them out at a higher interest rate. At this stage, the average reflects some advantage we've got from some lower interest rates still there, but if we are taking out new loans, I mean, they would be potentially at 5 or 6% if we were taking them out currently, and so yes, it will start edging up towards the, did you say 5%? Is the is the average that we had set for the year. Yeah.
So our borrowing rate's relatively close to the OCR, is it normally?
I
mean, like the new loan rate, what if we took one out today, what's
well, I suppose so it just depends a little bit, but it would be that we're signing them off at the moment around 5 to 6%.
All right, and
high fives, early sixes.
Final question, just above that, still on page 68, the level of growth. It's obviously it's low. And at this stage, we remain hopeful of achieving the 3.17%. Just wanted to focus on that for a second. Are we hopeful, or have we got some evidence supporting that hope? Is it hope, or is it evidence-based assessment?
Yeah, so through the chair, this is a perennial one, an absolute perennial one. So look, it does tend to stay low for quite some time, and then remarkably towards the end of the year, it does tend to pick up quite strongly. So one of the key issues here is quotable value in terms of role maintenance. So if there's a subdivision of a property, that increases the capital value of the district. If there is a new building improvement put on a property, then that increases the capital value of the district. Sometimes there is a delay in them actually putting the value into the district valuation role, but they are always very, very focused, and we force them to be really, really focused on getting those through by 30 June, because of course if those new values don't hit the roll by 30 June, then we lose the ability to rate on those new values for the whole following year. We can only rate on our district valuation roll as it stands at 1 July.
Right. So it doesn't have any impact on the current year. It's all next year.
This is all about next year. So what you're seeing in that graph on page 68, top of page 68. So we are looking for is it 3.17? We're looking for 3.17% of capital value growth, and in fact actually number of rateable properties growth as well. There's two elements to this. We're looking for that growth to occur in the current year, to be on the district valuation roll at 1 July 24, so that we can rate on it next year.
And that metric which we've had before, 1% is somewhere around 900 grand or something.
250 probably.
Yeah, but 900 grand in terms of cash, right? Because our rates takes about 90 million. So if you're 1% short,
yes,
you're most of $1 million short, right?
Yes. Yes, and
roughly,
very rough, very rough order.
Just
rule of thumb.
But the other thing is that 3.17 relates to building consents that have been issued in the past. So the slowdown that we're experiencing right now, I mean, it's probably is that 3.17 you know, to me, it's probably achievable because it's relating to building consents that was when it was still gangbusters.
Yeah. Yeah, so through the chair, without wanting to totally contra what you just said, I suppose that I would say there is there's a greater risk around this than there has been in the past. And look, I think that is almost best illustrated on that graph on page 68. If you look back the last couple of years, so basically over many years, generally the actual has always been in excess of what was in the annual plan, what we were looking for in the annual plan or the LTP. And you can see that in the first 2 years. Last year, for the first time for a very long time, we didn't manage to achieve it. You can see that we fell a bit short, and it really is for the reason that the chair has just outlined. Growth has slowed down, but we do tend to budget this conservatively, which is why the actual was just about always in excess. But even on a relatively conservative budget for last year, we didn't quite make it. And so there is a chance that will be the case this year as well. But really hard to pick off.
That's me, Andrew. Thank you.
Thanks, Monty. Yeah, good point, Ken. I just wanted to go back to that Monty's first point. Could we just clarify that, please?
Because the property sales thing?
Yeah.
The property sales one?
Yeah. Thanks. Clear.
I've got a couple of questions. Some of them I've sent through in advance, but this one I didn't, and it's on page 66 of the agenda or page 6 of the report about the treasury management. It just looks like that decrease in cash balance at year end, 22.7 million. So does that mean we're going from a cash positive 28 million down to 22 overdraft? Like that's a massive change in 12 months.
Sorry, I'm just looking. So that's actually taking our opening at where we finished in the annual report to what was in the annual plan. So we were higher in the annual report than the annual plan.
Right.
That's why it's a decrease. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I think I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I was just getting a bit concerned with the cash flows that will be put under a lot more pressure with having to make use of overdraft or banking facilities that we haven't had to in the past. That was sort of connected with the question. Yeah, because I understand we haven't really made much use of overdrafts before. Yeah.
My reading of that is that the cash balance is going to go down by 22 million, but it was 28, so it'll still be positive.
Still be positive, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, but is this a change in I suppose, the balance, a change in the rhythm, of our cash flows that we're likely to see a greater reduction going forward? Yeah.
That's a key.
Yes. Yeah, look, through the chair, potentially, and in fact, you will recall for the year that we've just ended, we only had a very small surplus, whereas, generally in the past, we've achieved very large surpluses. I do just want to pick up on the comment though about overdrafts. So I'm not anticipating us using overdrafts. If our cash balance diminishes, then we'd look to raise debt through the LGFA normally. We do have a cash advance facility with the ANZ Bank that from time to time for very short term cash flow needs, we may actually access that cash advance facility. It's up to $5 million. We may access that just for 2 or 3 days at a time, just to get us through short term cash flow needs. But other than that, we basically fund through LGFA borrowings. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Further on that, Claire, just to clarify why we have such a big difference between the annual report and the annual plans. In our annual report, with our debt, we're legislated to have so much cash on hand, whereas in the annual plan, they don't budget to that level.
Oh,
So that's
right.
why there's such a big
Oh, okay.
difference between the two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, thanks. And then I've got a question on page 69, or page 9 of your report about depreciation and amortization. So that's more than the forecast 33%. Yeah, by one. And I thought it's a bit unusual because you'd think that it would be applied evenly throughout the year and you shouldn't get out of sync. So it's 39%. Yeah. So is there a reason for that?
Generally with the actual, so we would have started higher than our budget. So our last year's was higher than what was budgeted. And then also as they're capitalising through the year, so that's going to carry on increasing as we go.
Yeah, so when we get those big increases through the revaluation process, that can have a knock-on effect in the first or second quarter of the next financial year. Yeah, okay. Okay, all right, thank you. And then on page 72 of the agenda, or page 12 of the report, it's about trade receivables, and then also, I guess, they seem to be higher as well. Yeah, that's 139% of the forecast. Yeah. So
Okay, yeah. So that's just a timer. So that will have installment 2 included in there for the rates that was due. Yeah, so then once that we get closer to the year and all those come off,
okay,
it usually looks
Yeah,
more on target.
I guess it's the same theme about cash flows, to make sure that we're able to pay what we've got on our books as soon as possible, and also we're getting it in as well, because that was another question about further down that page about the current liabilities, trade and other payables again.
Yeah. So that's
So
just
same
the
sort of thing.
timing. Yeah. And then it has all the income in advance with the rates in there as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then the employee benefit liabilities on that same page. Yeah. So they're a lot higher as well. Like they're at 100%. And I was wondering if that's tied up with that holiday pay adjustment that's coming through.
Possibly, I'd have to look into it, but it would generally just have rolled forward from where we closed off last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, through the chair, I'm looking at the employee benefit liabilities, and they're actually lower than the forecast, and they're lower than the full year budget, and they're lower than.
And in fact, I think it's my mistake, because I think I was looking at the next line down.
Oh, right,
borrowings,
okay.
And that's where the 100% was. Yeah. So.
Oh, yes,
I think I've gone off track there.
Yeah, which is in the borrowing space.
And
Yeah.
obviously that's just when the borrowings are needed. So,
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
So that's cool. Yeah, I think those. I guess my only other concern was around the is it planning and regulatory, that this is on page 92 of the agenda, that there's a decrease in the building fees, and obviously we are budgeting trying to cover the cost of that activity through the revenue we get in, but there's obviously likely to be quite a significant deficit.
So through the chair, and I guess you, so I am on page 92 and looking at exactly the thing. So so the building control, we have budgeted, we have forecast down the revenue by 562,000. We have also forecast down the expenditure, but unfortunately by only 188,000. So yes, I guess this does look like it is heading for a deficit. So they have tried to reduce the expenditure as much as possible at this stage, but obviously have not been able to match those two amounts up at this stage. Yeah.
So have you been in this situation, in the past with council, different cycles and things like that, and how you've managed that in the past?
Yes, yeah, look, we have, certainly in that, that building and resource consent space. So, I mean, I suppose the last time was the GFC, yeah, sort of 10, 12 years ago or so. In fact, so maybe even slightly longer than that. Yeah, I guess up till now or at the moment, in terms of that $188,000 of savings and expense, we have relied on natural attrition. So we have had a couple of members of that team leave, and they are not being replaced at this stage. But that is as far as we've gone. Certainly at this stage. I mean, it's something we need to obviously keep a close eye on. Yeah. In the I was going to say in the resource management space. Well, actually, in that resource management space, it looks like we don't have quite the same issues there. But I was going to say in that resource management space, generally, we do rely to a certain extent or to a reasonable extent on consultants. So if the revenue drops in that space, we can pretty easily turn off the cost. We can't so much in that building control space because it's largely, in fact, almost exclusively our own staff. Yeah.
No, thanks for that. Yeah, good to understand, what's happening there. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Claire. There's no other takers. We'll move to the recommendation on page 58, which I am not going to read out, but let me just say it's an A, B, and C. Could I have a mover, please? Monty, thank you. Thanks, Claire. All in favour? Contrary, no? It's carried. Thanks, Nada and Amy. You weren't needed this time, but next time. Okay, so I believe that our Waikato Screen people are here. Gary, thank you.
Sorry, I apologise for being late, Worship. I did the utmost and more for him.
I hope you brought your own mower.
And we're live streaming, by the way.
So, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, well, good afternoon, Chair and councillors. With your permission, I'll just take the report as read and introduce, first of all, Erin Griffiths in the middle, Tracy Hampton to my left, and Mayor Toby Adams, who is going to ably support them through this presentation. The clicker, Zoe, is there. Should be all good. So you're
welcome, ladies, and your worship. All good. Cheers. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Right, okay. Yeah, tēnā koutou, and thanks so much for having us here today. For those who don't know us, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce our team we've got on the board. So I'm Erin, I'm leading attraction and facilitation, and I showcase the region as a filming destination. I have a strong background in sales and marketing, and I've been the biggest advocate for having a film office in our region for the past 3 years. And please meet Tracy, and she is our film office and finance manager, leading business management, funding and finance. Tracy has a lifetime of experience in the screen industry and has worked for 6 years in a regional film office, specialising in economic development for the screen sector. Also in our team is Jack Barry, an experienced actor and producer who oversees our talent and sector development, along with Matt Hicks, our talent coordinator, who implements our workshops, events and youth training. During the past year, since obtaining your support, we have fulfilled our commitment of developing a strong and connected advisory board. Desiree Frisk integrative leader for Southern Cross, who some may know through the Waikato Plan, is our chairperson. Michelle Paki, Director Māori Regions for Kanoa at MB, is our cultural and business advisor. Mark McCabe, Managing Partner of PricewaterhouseCoopers, is our financial advisor. And Esme McKenzie Norton, Strategic Consultant, Psychologist and Professional Coach at Nexalist, advises us on strategy and planning. And last but not least, Mayor Toby Adams, who's here with us today, is our Waikato champion supporting Waikato Screen to ensure we have a thriving screen industry for our region. Together, our team has an outstanding amount of collective skills ensuring our continued success.
Waikato Screen is one of 11 regional film offices in Aotearoa. This secures us a seat at the table with New Zealand Film Commission, connecting us to international film market and an industry worth $3.3 billion per annum to our country. The Grow Waikato Screen project was developed as a 3-year project to formally set up a permanent film office in our region. We are a non-profit organisation specialising in the screen sector, funded by majority of territorial authorities, Waikato Regional Council, Well Energy Trust, and supported by industry stakeholders and guilds. The role of Waikato Screen is to facilitate relationships with international and national film industry, government and key stakeholders in the Waikato to stimulate economic development for local businesses and service providers, and to support and promote local industry professionals while providing career pathways for our rangatahi.
So what have we been up to for the past year? We've been getting established. So essentially we've been putting ourselves on the map. Yeah. We've been implementing our initiatives and servicing productions, collaborating with local creative organisations and supporting film festivals, creating our company structure while servicing productions in our region. And it's been a really positive year so far. One significant advancement was to secure the delivery of the Waikato Regional Council Regional Development Fund, which happened in May of this year. This has enabled Waikato Screen Project to proceed as a fully funded, proactive organisation. We've gained financial support from 8 out of 9 councils in our first year of funding, and we've created joint service agreements with 4 councils to align our KPIs and streamline our reporting processes. We've completed all annual reports, and work on securing our future with council long-term plans. We resumed all New Zealand Film Commission and RFONS activities, which now allows us to pitch our region's locations for large international productions. We were flown to Wellington by the New Zealand Film Commission to audit the Waikato images on their digital library and to firm up our relationship with them. We're now in the New Zealand Film Commission lookbook. Oops, I was meant to send that around.
I'll do that, eh?
There you go. So this lookbook is sent out to the top 250 producers of the world and will be showcased in upcoming film festivals in LA. So we'll take a look. We represented our region at the RFONS annual Hui and at the New Zealand Game Developers Conference, as the gaming industry is a significant part of the film sector. We look forward to partaking in New Zealand's biggest annual film industry event, the Big Screen Symposium, early next year. We've launched our quarterly newsletter, and hopefully most of you have been getting that. And we've facilitated a variety of international and national productions through filming in our region. Through media coverage on TV, radio, social media, we have started marketing the Waikato as a filming location destination. And that's just a few things that we've undertaken. So we'll move on to the more exciting things, which is the actual filming that's been going on. Finally, I could share with you, when advocating to become a film office, I mentioned a major film that we were working on and couldn't talk about it, and it was Avatar: Ways of Water by James Cameron. We helped facilitate multiple connections to businesses in our region and assisted with the logistics of boat launching, water safety aspects, etc., for a boat jump scene that took place in Matarangi. This is an example of the calibre of productions that we've been servicing, but have been unable to share that vital information until they're actually on the screens.
We had our regional success with the Gone production with fantastic script, great cast, and of course locations. This directly benefited Hauraki district with $1 million spend in the Matamata Piako and Hauraki districts. They actively gave work and training opportunities to Waikato locals. The Gone has helped put our region on the podium, with Waikato having great media coverage, giving us the opportunity to promote our region as a film destination. And we're pleased to confirm the Gone 2 has been confirmed.
I hope you all watched it. I believe one of your guys wanted to be an extra in it. I don't know if he did manage it. So what else have we been working on? We've had 38 inquiries over the past year and secured major international productions, including TV series, documentaries, commercials, and the list goes on. Just for example, streaming series was like The Gone. We also worked with Netflix Sweet Tooth, international award-winning short series Rurangi, and another major confidential international streaming series that had an estimated spend of $150,000 per night in the much needed and storm affected Thames Coromandel and Haraki area. We have another 2 international feature films scheduled for 2024 in the pipeline. Other inquiries included documentaries like Gold Rush, Parker Trails 5, The Volcano, Rescue from Whakaari on Netflix, local films, reality and international travel programs, FIFA coverage for the Women's World Cup football when they visited New Zealand, and numerous commercials. With the US strike for screenwriters and actors now over, this means productions that have been on hold have commenced pre-production in New Zealand. In early 2024, Auckland studios anticipate being at full capacity, and location work will flow out into our region from this. Waikato Screen is building a fantastic reputation within that industry. Please note all the images that you've got here are from productions in our region.
So moving forward, we've hit the ground running. We're really busy. We've been building our website, which will be launched in early 2024. Our image library and crew industry, we've been building on the image library and mapping our crew industry directories. We're pitching and showcasing to incoming international productions and commencing our attractions plan. We've been engaging with our stakeholders through our quarterly newsletter, commencing with workshops, training, and industry networks events. Strengthening our relationship with councils to create more film-friendly processes, continuing with match funding, currently in the development sector of workshops and iwi engagement, and proudly representing Waikato as the industry forums. Most of all, we've continued excellent service to incoming productions.
So what is this industry worth to us? So the screen industry is a huge multi-million-dollar industry, and we are increasing our share of the market. A simple ad like the latest Waka Kotahi commercial was filmed in the Waikato and had a $500,000 budget for a 4-day shoot. We see figures bantered around like the Apple TV Chiefs of War, filmed in New Zealand with approximately a $300 million budget, and Avatar spending $250 million US. With the assistance of Waikato Screen, both of these productions filmed certain sectors in our region, creating substantial economic benefits. This slide gives a range of approximate expenditure per day for filming, depending on the budget of the production, so we can understand how substantial and beneficial this is for our communities. The Gone was classified as a low budget production with an average spend of about $33,000 per night while staying in Te Aroha and Paeroa over a 6 to 7 week period. At a rough calculation, we took the annual investment into our film office from the participating councils of the area. And with the return from the Gone, the production alone equated to about $79 for each dollar that was invested. We're a new film office. And we're working for all the districts. So you're probably wondering what we've been doing in the Waipa. Well, I can tell you Home Kills, who we've worked with, is a small feature film that has been submitted to major international film festivals, and it used 90% of its locations in the Waipa district. Waikato Screen submitted Waipa locations for a documentary film, Ms. Information, and recently submitted more of the airport to a high-end American thriller feature film, and actually one just this afternoon about 10 minutes before I walked in for the same location. So currently we are in discussion with the council regarding a small to mid feature film with about a $2.5 million budget that's looking in the Cambridge area as their main location. So next month, we will be hosting the producer and writer on a recce, assisting with locations, local business connections and crew possibilities for this project. If this production goes ahead and, for example, only 10% went back directly into the community, this would still be a $20 return for every dollar invested by the Waipa Council that we're asking for. This is only one production that we expect to have here, and we still expect more to come. As we become more established, we will be capturing more economic data to share with councils. So the Waipa District Council is one of Waikato Screen's biggest supporters. You gave us the leg up that we needed to establish our film office for this region. This creates opportunities not just for the screen sector, but for associated businesses that reap the rewards from having a film industry thriving. Your support provided confidence to allow major funding partners, the Waikato Regional Council, to partner with us, allowing us to become the 10th regional film office in our country. So what do we ask from you? We ask for continued support so we can proceed with our journey growing the screen sector. To grow the service required for your area, we need your ongoing commitment and financial support for this year's funding. We'd ask that you please include us in your long-term plan as we progress this phase in the council calendar. We ask you to consider the benefits the Waikato Screen has been bringing to our region and include us in your long-term plan. We also ask for continued council staff assistance to help with us with facilitating incoming production inquiries, collecting data, and creating protocols and everything else in between. So with that, that brings us to the end of our presentation. But we ask you to let's together make the Waikato the heart of New Zealand screen production. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Yeah, quite a compelling presentation. Do I have questions or comments?
Oh, let me share my microphone with you.
Al Murray.
Into sharing. Just looking through, and I see Jack Berry is he Māori? Just out of interest?
We've spoken about that. Yes, he has, but he doesn't, he's not familiar with the whakapapa, and it's a journey he's going on at the moment.
Kapai. So just because we're going through a little bit of a strategy thing here at Waipa, have you guys got an iwi engagement strategy?
We're working with Michelle Paki for our iwi engagement strategy, and she started our work. It's been something we've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 months, and we are meeting Wednesday next week to do a full presentation.
I'll talk to her at dinner tonight.
And
Kia
then
ora.
also we have Karen from the New Zealand Film Commission is coming down to work with us because her insight in the iwi engagement for all of Aotearoa is so significant. So
Who's Karen?
Karen is from New Zealand Film Commission. I can send on her details to you because she's fascinating to talk to. And,
She manages Maori iwi engagement for the country.
Māori iwi engagement.
Sorry, just for the New Zealand Film Commission for the film sector.
Okay, kia ora.
Anybody else? Claire.
Yeah, I'd just like to say congratulations. I think the work you're doing sounds amazing, and the incredible productions that are being attracted, to our region and our district, and the economic benefits that flow from that. Yeah, it's a great news story. Yeah, so yeah, well done, and yeah, wish you every success, for the inquiries that you're fielding at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, yeah.
So I think in the first year you got 8 of the 9 district councils. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And then that's fallen away in year 2. Is that right? With
So-
your last slide had 4 territorial authorities. Are they the?
No, those are the ones that we had a joint service agreement. So some people like the Waipa, originally their agreement, they decided not to be part of the joint service agreement. Waikato didn't, Waikato District didn't. Also, Hamilton City, we went through a different funding path, which means they couldn't be part of that. So we would love for all the councils to be on board with the same agreement with us, rather than sort of bits and bobs. And each of those ones have different criteria. We'd like to work with the same criteria, so we're delivering the same outcomes to each council.
And what does your viability look like depending on how many councils are in or out?
At the moment, we're just starting that process. So you are the third council. So TCDC has indicated that they are going to come on board. So in the first year, Sandra Gowdy wasn't supportive, and the new mayor, Len Salt, has sort of, as far as we know, given us the thumbs up to say that they look like they'll be supporting us. So
I
we hope
think
to have.
he wants me to cast him in something though.
Oh.
He's kind of indicated.
It'd be fabulous.
It's not
It'd be
deciding
amazing.
on that, but yeah, he was like, well, when am I going to get my role in front of camera?
Civil engineer that built the bridge.
Yeah, I think we've been really lucky with the timing of the GON that it's meant that people, and Pamela's stories, like get your stories out there. So because the public can see the benefits and the good story that we are, and that it's so good because it does benefit communities directly, and that people get to work where they live, but also there's a lot of, it's not just the crew, it's all the locations and the service providers, and for Te Haraha, they were all the businesses, the restaurants, the accommodation. It's so good because it's money that if we don't attract it, they'll go and spend elsewhere. So the more that we can bring, and then geographically, we're so fortunate being rich sisters of Auckland that we're just so close, so that when they fill their studios, we're going to get all their location filming, and it's easy for productions to cost coming here versus having to fly people to Queenstown. It's like we're right here, so we're in a very good position.
Tracy often says we are not the poor cousins of Auckland, we're the rich sisters.
Yeah, yeah, we are. And we've got those locations and variety of, and that's the importance of the iwi engagement, which is, I think the filming is actually very respectful and aware and advanced a lot than other departments and other business sectors, I think, on the importance of the iwi engagement, which is, yeah, it's really fascinating to be part of that.
Mike.
Yeah, thanks to the chair. A fantastic presentation. Really enjoyed hearing it live, not just reading it. When you first came, you sort of said that if Waikato doesn't have something like Waikato Screen or something like that, that we will struggle to attract decent sized productions, whether they're film or documentaries or whatever, to the Waikato, because you sort of need that office, that hub, that central connection that people can come into, and in a very short time. I'm being wowed by what you've actually done. So I'm also very pleased that there isn't a funding accountability report. Okay, I think it's actually really important we've done that, because in tight times, councils are looking where they can save money. And I think your presentation today has been on point, timely. Yeah, I'm very supportive. Very good. Good to see you, Toby. I've got an outboard to fix as well.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's what I used. I've changed. I've become a sailor now. Yeah, so I do different things, but I do fix boats still out there on the water. I just want to say I understand the complexities of the budgets that we're all facing at this present time, and it is tight times. But sometimes you've got to look far beyond that, and what is the ramifications of not funding something like this for future down the track. And I'll give you a prime example, and hence why I got involved with Waikato Screen right from the start is I managed to get out on one of the locations. It did happen to be in our area, and just saw the mass amount of people that was there and funding a small town like Kahawa that were just benefiting. After the recent cyclones that we had a motel right across the road from where I lived that was flooded. It was absolutely decimated. People couldn't go into it. Filming of the GON came. Filled it up, booked it out, and it changed that whole system for them, made it a viable option. So you see those kind of dollars just spent in those areas, and that's just a small fraction. So not only do we want to see Waipa on the screen along some other good councils like Hauraki, just in your funding is one part of it, but it's having your back end office and being supportive with your councillors and your council staff, knowing that when a film does come, Erin or Tracy can pick up the phone, talk to someone in this council and say, how can we make this work in your area? So that's what we're looking for. So not just a commitment of funds, but a commitment from your council as a whole going forward. And we know there's a lot of stuff that obviously even us as board members don't get to hear that information about what's coming down the pipeline. And there's always stuff coming down the pipeline, and you guys are benefiting. Your businesses are benefiting. So I urge you to consider this proposal and be favourable. It's like the amount of road cones I came through, it's just a small fraction of the price of what you've got going on at the moment.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks very much for that. And look, it's already been alluded to, long-term plans are in process. Times are tough, money's tight, but we are looking for spends that produce economic activity in our areas. And you have got a compelling argument that I feel so. Promises we won't make, but
100%. I understand that.
It's.
If I want to give you a little taste of how Hauraki came to the decision, it took less than 3 seconds. Even though, and we're the same, we were trying to strip out $11 million of capital, $5 million of operational to trim our budgets down for our rate rises. Waikato Screen came up, same with no different than our tourism stuff, and it was like, we just said those have got to stay. We can't drop that level of service. This is the time that we need it. So that's how a conversation went in Hauraki. So I understand exactly what you're going through with your rate increases. No, I haven't been asked to stand in for Jason Momoa. I know you're going to ask that.
Close. Oh, so it's not Jason. Hey, look, thank you for your presentation. I have to say, sort of flown a bit under the radar, and I appreciate that a lot of the stuff that you do is sort of slightly commercially sensitive and sort of secret squirrel. So it's really neat to see a lot of that actually be daylighted a bit, and we can actually see some of the projects that have come to fruition. Of course, we'd like to see more in Waipa, but and I guess that comes with a bit of ongoing support. So that's obviously a conversation that we will have in due course. But if you ever need a farm, and I pitched this last time, I've got a banger of a good looking farm if you need a site for something. So anyway, look, thank you very much and best of luck in your travels. And don't know why you brought the riffraff with you. Was that look like quite an old photo, Toby?
It wasn't. I actually, and I thought about suiting up for today, but I didn't. That was at a council meeting, but I had a very rushed day today with some unhappy developers, so it's been a hectic day today. So I didn't put on my good pants. But if you pop over tomorrow to Hauraki, you'll see me suited up.
I think what's really good with the work we're doing, and having the good relationships with council, is that when we can tell you a good story, is to share it with you, and then it gets to the public and they're aware of what we're doing. And I think that's really great with the relationships that I've seen Erin build up over the last 2 years of getting this off the ground, of who will just pick up the phone, and it's another mayor calling, which is brilliant. And the mayor from Te Araha, she lent her, what are they called? The gold chains. The emerald chains for filming.
Adrian got in it, didn't she? I can remember her starting about that.
I am conscious that we are a good story, and I think and the economic impact is significant. And it's when for you to have a lead on a story, when it has been able to be released, would be nice to share. So it comes through council, I think is really good for these times of year, well, just current times. I think it's nice for people to read those good stories.
No, awesome. Thanks very much for your presentation. And Toby, yeah, thanks for the invitation tomorrow, but probably I'm feeling most of us will pass on coming to see you suited up, that is.
That's uncalled for, Mr. Chairman. I thought we were all friends in here.
Well,
I will send videos to Susan and she can put it on the screen for you then.
I have a mover for the recommendation on page 15 and a seconder from Lou. Thank you very much. Dale moved. All in favour, please say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. That is carried. Awesome. Thanks very much. Entertaining as well. All right, where did we get up to? Tab 9?
Yes, 9. Lions Club, please.
And with pleasure. Thanks very much. Cheers. Okay. Have you settled down?
I take a wee bit.
All right, now that we've settled down a little bit, we'll move on to item 9. And Angela is not here, but Chris and David will, when they've got a moment, come and join us.
Just on this item, there's a little typo in the executive summary in the second paragraph. It says the current lease to the trust expires, but it should be expired. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Through that. David, hi.
Kia ora koutou and Mr. Chair and members of the Finance Committee, Finance and Corporate Committee. The first report I bring to you today is a new community lease for the Lions Club of the Cambridge Charitable Trust. We're seeking approval for the lease of 26B Vogel Street. That's located on the green belt that runs north-south on Vogel Street on the left-hand side. The current lease expired on the 30th of September 2021, and they're holding in a holding pattern at the moment for the renewal of that lease. So, you got any questions?
Thank you, David. Hey, look, no problem with the report at all, but I was just aware that that they seem to always be running out of space over there, and I wondered if at some point in the future whether there was an opportunity for them to be able to relocate to another, public reserve somewhere. And I know that you can't answer that right now, but I just think it's probably something we should be planning for. Yeah, their service obviously to the community with the Lions Shed that's located on that particular spot just always seems to be, at capacity, and they start tacking on lean-tos and extra storage facilities. And I just kind of wonder if one purpose-built facility might be better off, long-term, that's all. But hey, happy to move the recommendation to move into a new lease as well. Thanks.
Sorry, thanks, Liz. Any other, seconder from Marcus, any other? No, in that case, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Contrary, no. It's carried. Just checking. Right, item 11.
Through Mr. Chair, this is the second item is the new community lease for the Kiki Police House in Temple Cottage. Again, this is a lease that has expired, and we are seeking approval for a new lease for the charitable trust.
Sure. Marcus.
Happy to move.
Thank you. Thanks, Claire. Second, all in favour, please say aye. Better. Contrary, no. It's carried. Okay. Moving to public excluded. Mover, thanks, Claire. Thanks, Phil. All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary, no. It's